Hey, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit different tone today because it's Memorial Day. And just to start off with, I would ask that as you're watching this, please keep in mind the Gold Star family members that have lost a soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine in service to our nation and to protect our Constitution. It's not a political thing. And I've seen there's a lot of information going around about a couple of tweets that were sent out that people consider insensitive. I'm not touching that because that's not what this day is about. It's and I'm not gonna come back and touch them later. When it's time to talk about political stuff, I will, but this is not the day to do it. It's I figured something out in 2017 or so as I was invited to a few different ceremonies over the Memorial Day weekend to speak and represent the lieutenant governor's office. And they were solemn events, and a couple of them I was close to family members who had lost loved ones. One of them in particular was a dedication in St. Louis, which if you watched the video at the beginning of this, you saw Specialist Katzenberger, and it was that memorial, and it really impacted me because they are solemn events, and it's very touching when you see the family members out there and you see the videos and pictures people post all over social media celebrating the life, I guess I would say, of the service members that they were lucky enough to have served with, or the family members that have lost them. And it's just something to stop and think about. This morning, took a trip now to the closest veteran cemetery to me because I find solace there. In some ways, some people may find it weird, but for me, it's a place where I can go to and I can think and I can look at the headstones. And I served for 23 years in multiple combat deployments and walked away. I'm home. I'm healthy. I'm happy sometimes, but close enough. No, I'm not depressed. No, I'm not going to do anything. What I will say is, for generations, Americans have been willing to lay down their lives to protect our Constitution. And in my mind, it's still the greatest document ever written. And the fact that they are still willing to do it at this point says something very poignant about our country. And all the strife and all the political back and forth, whether you're right, you're left, you're conservative, you're progressive, all of that goes out the window. It truly does. Two of the great equalizers throughout history have been education and military service. It has allowed people to transcend what their place in life should have been or where their life took them. And many of them don't actually go into it because of that. They go into military because they do have thoughts to serve something bigger than themselves. I was brought to that by seeing a couple of the different people I follow as their children or even them graduated from service academies over the past couple of weeks or as they were coming up to graduation, just the sheer pride, the first generation college graduate. And they chose to do it at a service academy. They chose to serve something bigger than themselves. Now, at some point, they may join the roles of those who didn't come back, who paid the ultimate sacrifice, but they're willing to do it with the knowledge that this could happen. And I think we celebrate their life. I think we celebrate their dedication. I think we use that to overlook some of the issues going on in our country today with the infighting, with riots and protests, with certain things bring us together. And I remember the outcry to support each other on September 12th, 2001. It's our country is a great thing. And these men and women have paid the ultimate sacrifice. And that's why we have today. It's not about what side you're on. It's not about it's the fact that they paid the ultimate sacrifice. And honestly, I think they wouldn't want you to go to the beach and have barbecues and celebrate life. But remember them as you're doing this. Remember those families that have had a husband, a wife, a son, or a daughter pay the ultimate sacrifice in service to their country. Every service member swears an oath, and they live by that oath. Most of them come home, but a good number haven't. And to those that haven't, always keep the thoughts of their sacrifice and honestly the sacrifice of their families. We call them Gold Star families. And I think it's a good thing, but I think it still does not convey the feelings and thoughts we should have for these families that have had a member pay the ultimate sacrifice. I just think it's time to remember this instead of some of the upheaval that's going on in our country. And this is a good day to start that. And when you get up tomorrow, remember, men and women have made sacrifices for this country since its founding or in its founding. Most have never asked for any more than what they were promised. Some were promised nothing, but they truly believed in what this country and what our Constitution stands for. And I think it does set us apart from every other country in the world. And it always will, as long as we don't let it, as long as we don't let us destroy ourselves. And in doing that, I think we shame their memory. I think we lessen the sacrifice they made. If we cannot come together as a country, if we cannot unite and bring this back together to where it should be, I really do think we're not truly honoring their memory, and that's on both sides. So all these people that truly support the military and consider themselves conservative, guess what? Step across, extend your hand. And even those that are against it, the reason you have the rights to have these protests or to stage these demonstrations is because these men and women were willing to sacrifice themselves to give you those rights. Just flashback and Google Tiananmen Square, and you'll see why it's important. You'll understand why service members truly believe in what they do and why they willingly made that sacrifice. In the end, we're a country. We need to go back to being the United States. We need to stop looking at political parties. The silent majority needs to stand up. And let's start that today as we think about these service members that have given everything they could. They've paid the ultimate sacrifice for what they believed in. With that, hey, if you like what I have to say, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you dislike what I said here, I don't even want to hear about it if you want an honest answer. But everybody have a good evening. Take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and give your prayers to these families who have lost service members.